Hello, you're listening to the IoT Weekly Podcast, episode number 13.
Hello and welcome to episode number 13 of the IoT Weekly Podcast, brought to you by Gearforge Software. My name is Cliff, and I'm joined by my co-hosts Zeineb and Matthew. Matthew, you want to give us a little bit of insight on what you've been doing lately?
What have I been doing? So many things, but I will talk about. I've been listening to the audiobook for Rogue One.
Ooh.
From the Star Wars movie that was out a couple of years ago.
That's one of my favorites.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm a Star Trek kind of girl.
Well, and in the evenings I've been watching Star Trek Voyager, so.
I guess you could do both.
Yeah,
Yes.
Exactly.
Nice. Well, subsequently, Matthew let me borrow his Rogue One book, so now I'm also listening to Rogue One, and it is really good. Gosh, it is so good.
Yeah, I am amazed at how, it's a movie tie-in book.
Yeah.
But I'm shocked at, number one, it's really well written. The person who reads it, the actor who does the reading is amazing, so good. Just the production value is really high, and I feel like I get so much more depth than I got in the movie. So, yeah.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah.
You get to hear the internal thoughts, which is awesome.
Totally.
And so besides Rogue One, I've gotten a couple SIM card or SIM-based microcontrollers in. So I've been playing with those all of last weekend, testing battery length and a lot of different things. So that's just been a lot of fun with that. How about you, Zeineb? What have you been doing here?
Oh, I have advanced to level 6 in D&D, and I'm trying to catch a serial killer.
Oh.
Needless to say,
Hold on.
I'm pretty bad.
Hold on. Those were connected, right? You're trying to catch a serial killer in Dungeons and Dragons, or you advanced to level 20, you advanced to level 6, and you're trying to catch a serial killer.
Yes. I am a very, very busy rogue.
Right.
Yes. Nice.
That is excellent.
It is.
Well, are we ready for some feedback?
Yes.
So after many episodes of saying, please send us your feedback, still haven't gotten a recipe. So I'm waiting for that. Somebody should send in a recipe. But we did get feedback this week, you guys.
Mm-hmm. What did we get?
Very excited. Well, we got some feedback from Istvan Sipka, the creator of the IoT Cube for Greenhouses on Hackster.io, and he kindly answered some of our questions. And
I remember that project. That was super cool.
Yeah, that was in episode 8. It's been a while ago.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the question, and Zeineb, did you ask this question?
Yes.
Very good. So are you planning any more IoT projects, and have you discovered any new challenges or possibilities for growth? And Istvan wrote back, in the long run, I'm planning to make a small business around it. However, there are many tasks, tests, prototypes, etc., until I can say it's okay to sell them. First and main issue is a really huge professional gap between a single program and the health of a single plant. So it's hard to find someone who can understand both ends and all the things in between them. And Cliff, this is what we see all the time, isn't it?
It is, very much so.
Production of vegetables is what he knows best, but not code writing, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So trying to find, sort of put the business knowledge and the code knowledge together, I guess.
Yep.
So I want to think I can see the big picture here, and to achieve something long-term value in every single field from code to plant needs to be learned and developed. Yes, sir.
I love that, from code to plant.
I know, isn't that great?
Just awesome. Sorry.
Yes, there are many projects I'm going to do and hope to publish as well. So again, that was from Istvan, and really appreciate him answering our question. And so you can, if you're interested in his project, you can find it on Hackster.io. The link will be in the show notes, or go back to episode 8, as Zeineb said, and you can listen to that episode and the news article there. All right, and we also got some feedback from, well, hold on. So this feedback is from John from Minnesota. Mm-hmm. but he was a winner, wasn't he, Zeineb?
Winner, winner.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent. So he won one of our Amazon IoT buttons, and he also gave us some great feedback. So I'd like to read that next. So he says, thanks for the shout out on the podcast. If I may be so bold as to make a recommendation, when you talk about a tech, see if you can get a guest on that is involved with it. For example, it was great hearing the 3 perspectives on the MIT chip, but I think it would be even more engaging for listeners to hear from someone at MIT directly and have the 3 of you each question them. Try to, so then in terms of getting in touch with people, he said, try to think orthogonally as well. Instead of getting the main guy at MIT, who is their closest competitor, or, maybe what does the Princeton guy think of the new chips? So anyway, that's his 2 cents, which he says are worth every penny, and keep up the great work. So John, thank you so much for the feedback. And I think this is right on point. We would love to get some guests on the show, so it's not just us yammering all the time. And ideally, get in touch with some of these folks who are, actually behind the scenes on some of these products, and get their take on it. So thanks very much for the feedback, and congratulations on winning a button.
And tell us what you do with it. I'd love to hear what you end up doing with the Amazon button.
Oh, yeah, we'll definitely try to find out.
Mm-hmm.
We also have to talk about something, don't we?
What's that?
Our
contest?
Twitter account.
Tell us.
Or Twitter, huh?
Oh, yeah, Twitter.
Wait, we have a Twitter account?
When do we get that?
I don't know. I just do nothing all day, but we have 413 followers.
Oh my gosh, I remember when we had 7.
Yeah. 2 of them were us.
I know.
I was about to say the same
One was
thing.
my son.
Yes, exactly. Friends and family only.
Yes.
It's that kind of show. No, it's very exciting. And are we still giving out IoT buttons?
Yeah. I've still got a stack of them sitting behind you over there.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So everyone, we have free things.
Yes, we do.
Excellent. So how do they get those free things? Zeineb?
Well, basically, we will draw a name. But if you do like or retweet our content on Twitter, we'll put your name in the hat extra because it's super nice of you to do so.
And one of these days, we will take a picture of the hat and show you guys what it looks like.
I hope it is the hat is as good as I am picturing.
Oh, it's going to be better.
Okay. We're very exotic. I have my fez. We can use that, no problem.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. So if you want to get in touch with us, you can follow us on Twitter at Gearforge IoT, or shoot us a message via email, podcast@gearforgesoftware.com. We'll get that done for you. And of course, if you're interested in knowing more, you can visit our website, gearforgesoftware.com. And now it's time for our show's sponsor.
We have a new sponsor.
Yay.
Ooh, yes.
So the new sponsor is the IoT Fuse Conference in 2018. So it's happening in Minneapolis, May 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and it aims to unite accomplished doers, makers, and hackers with the brightest executives, entrepreneurs, and innovators. So this is the 4th edition, and it wants to bring together a robust community of IoT practitioners, developers, and makers who strive to build a deeper understanding of where the IoT is today, where it wants to head in the future, and how the associated technologies and use cases can help improve the physical world in which we live. And you are welcome to check out more and find out more information about this conference, or if you want to buy your tickets, you can always go to iotfuse.com.
That is
Great.
awesome.
Super
Boy,
cool.
I bet it's just going to be a great conference, and there's plenty of opportunities to get selfies at the IoT conference, I bet.
I bet that's true.
I'm going to try to go. Just saying.
Yes, so are we.
Yes. I think that'll be fantastic.
I do too. Well, are we ready for some news here? I'd like to kind of let people know we're changing it up. Our goal is not to be forever long. Just as a side note, we've decided we don't want to be, I don't know, movie length long. We're going to try to narrow this back down. I'm not saying it's like Lord of the Rings long, but
just the Grinch long.
Director's cut.
Yeah. Let's bring this back down. So we're going to try to keep it a little bit more an a listenable type standpoint, so it's not nearly as long. And so we're going to focus on probably one article each. However, there will be additional articles that we have that you can find in the show notes. So if you're really curious, go to the show notes. We have more articles, but we're gonna pick one each that we'd like to cover and then go from there. So I think, Matthew, you're up first, aren't you?
I think so. So Google has some new stuff. Well, I guess it's not new, but it's generally available. So Google's IoT Core, Google Cloud IoT Core is now generally available.
Does that mean it's like sometimes during the day it's available, but not quite all the time? Is that what generally available means?
No, good question. I mean, basically it means that they've had it in sort of a preview mode up to this point, let's say a beta. I don't know if you guys
an open beta.
Yeah, that Gmail, was in beta for like 10 years or something.
Really?
Yeah. But basically this means that they've moved it out of public beta and into sort of general availability, which means I think they feel like they've finished that first round of polished the product to the point where they're making it generally available. Usually that means it's fully production ready. So basically Google allows users to connect to its Cloud IoT Core service as the input point for data, and gives access to all of its various cloud services such as databases, analytics tools, the serverless platform, machine learning services, and basically it supports MQTT protocol and HTTP as well. Of course, MQTT is used by most competitors, sort of designed for with IoT in mind.
Yep.
And also, Cloud IoT Core is compatible with Google's Android Things platform. Also works with ARM, Cisco, Intel, NXP, Sierra Wireless, and other hardware partners' products. And they've got basically looks like some connectivity here. So Google allows users up to 250 megabytes per month free of charge. And it charges, what is that? 4/10 of a cent per megabyte for the first 250 gigabytes of data. And
so
discount
sounds cheap
over that. I think it is cheap, yes. Which is probably, they're probably trying to use their scale to.
Yep.
They've been doing this with all of their cloud products for the last few years, where they've been basically just driving down the price. And I think that's probably an attempt to be competitive. So
sure.
Yeah. I think they're just trying to increase adaptability to get adoptability is the correct word, to get as many people involved as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think we see this so Amazon has their play. Microsoft is big into IoT right now.
Yep.
And then Google is also trying to play in this field. What do you think of this?
I think it's about time. I was a little shocked that it took them this long actually to come out of beta, Matthew.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they've got some really stiff competition coming out of Microsoft and Amazon right now, especially, the reInvent, that was massive. I mean, like I said, I think a third of that entire conference was focused on IoT.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a little surprised that Google hadn't come out of beta quite yet. I mean, I figured they would have been coming at this a little bit sooner. So I don't know if they were kind of caught by surprise with the IoT scenario here, but it's just like I thought they'd be a little bit more of a leader in this realm here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm not sure. Maybe it just wasn't quite ready, right?
Yeah. I just found that's interesting. They've got the strong backends. They had all the if you think about all the analytics and the big table, BigQuery, everything is all there. And first and foremost, they've already got the entire Android scenario. It's like, gosh, it felt like they're right there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to start a cloud platform war.
No,
but I have had some bad experiences with Google's cloud platform.
Oh.
In that it sometimes feels like it is not fully baked in some areas. Documentation doesn't seem to fit the the reality. I had a heck of a time getting, I don't remember what it was, but I was trying to get what is it, an app engine. I was trying to use Golang, which was that's their language, like they sponsor development of Go. And there was something missing in the docs or something, but I just ran into little headache after little headache.
Sure.
And it made me, say, let's just use Amazon instead. So I wonder a little bit, again, I'd love to be proven wrong here because there are lots of things I like about what Google does, but I feel like their cloud service has been a little behind.
That could explain.
My first choice.
I can explain. And that's why maybe Amazon and Microsoft has pushed so far ahead of them already. It looks like a little bit here.
Could be, yeah.
Okay.
So,
you could assume. Thank you. You could assume that they're trying to make up for being so late in the game with how compatible they're trying to be, and the offers to almost have it like just free of charge, especially for hobbyists and such, because you won't take up that much if you're just one person trying out things.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah, I feel like this is I don't know. I'll be curious to see. But
I'm sure this won't be the last time we talk about them.
Oh, no. Zeineb, would you like to tell us about, is this about cucumbers?
Oh, yeah. It's about cucumbers.
You're so excited about this.
You are so excited about cucumbers.
So they're great. So Germany, it's Germany. It's always the Germans with the cucumbers. So Germany has been suffering from inflation, minimum wage laws, and basically, the first thing that suffers is agriculture. And these guys, researchers at the Berlin's Fraunhofer Institute, they decided they would develop a robot that would pick cucumbers like a person. And basically the thing is, cucumbers is one of the more difficult things to automate because you have to push down the leaves, have to make sure which ones are ripe. Workers would usually lay on their stomach as a vehicle moves by, and they would pick them as they go along. But then they managed to, they started this thing called a CATCH project, and the European Union's robotics research project helped subsidize it. And what they're doing is this robot is just loaded with sensors. Instead of having eyes and hands, it would have optical and tactile sensing to help it determine if the cucumbers are ripe. And then it can actually use its arms to push the leaves in all these different directions. And it is faster and cheaper than the workers that are usually hired around. So, yeah, this project completed initial field testing like July of last year. And so they're still trying to make sure that it's perfect before they can put it out there.
I love the idea of cucumber picking robots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It says humans can pick 13
cucumbers
a minute.
Yeah.
I don't think I could pick one a minute, for God's sakes.
I bet you could.
You think? I don't know. Like, these guys are good.
Yeah, I don't know if you, it reminds me a lot of the Tarzan robot, and it's like something that's meant almost for it's not meant for picking, but it's also in the agricultural field, and it actually swings from crop to crop, so it does not use the ground, and it will take pictures and follow around the crops with all the sensors to make sure everything is okay.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's super cool. Super cool. I wonder, so are there a bunch of cucumber pickers out there who are scared for their jobs now?
Not really. They're not even there anymore. Agriculture is always the first field that goes in a crisis because of it, because it's become such an unattractive field to workers. They don't want to work in the field anymore. And so coming up with these different solutions, and especially utilizing IoT, can really save agriculture.
Yeah, it's got a picture of this thing too, and just really, it's super cool.
Mm-hmm. I mean, already, when you think about it, the number one thing farmers worry about is them not even breaking even because of the food waste, because of the workers and minimum wage and all that. And so we talked about IoT solutions for minimizing food waste in earlier episodes, and this is just a small piece of the puzzle of how to be able to optimize the entire chain so that it is still a viable business to go into, so that you can encourage farmers to still do farming.
Yeah. Well, and this reminds me, I don't know if you've ever visited one of those farms, the dairy farms. We have lots of dairy farms in the Midwest. I'm just amazed at the robotics that they have on these things. I mean, the cows milk themselves now. It's just amazing. They walk in, they milk themselves, and they walk back out when they're done. And it can detect like the health of the cow and everything. And if the milk isn't good, it automatically just dumps it and alerts the farmer, or essentially can send it over to the vet if they want to automatically come in there and take care of the cow.
That is
the Internet of Cows.
Yeah, it's the Internet of Cows. Yeah, I was talking with someone today.
Named this all wrong.
I know. It should be Internet of Cows and Cucumbers, for goodness sakes. Well, that was awesome, Zeineb. I love the robot here. This is so cool.
Super cool. We got to have a robot in every episode, I think.
We do. We need it. Yes, we do.
Cliff, do you want to tell us about the connected fleet?
Yep. I will mention the other couple articles that are here. We're not going to announce them on the show, but if you'll take a look at the show notes. So one of them is the IoT for aging. You're never too old to innovate. And the other one is the future infrastructure of smart water and IoT. So I think those are both just really awesome articles. By no means did we want to slight these. It's just, again, for the sake of time, we just want to make sure we get you the information you're looking for. As you all know, I'm super interested in connectivity, whereas Matthew loves security. So this article, it's the IoT logistics moves from connected fleet to connected things. And if you remember, Matthew, gosh, you had spoken about a scenario about the milk to table or something like that. Gosh, it was many episodes ago.
It was Australia to China, and sensors on the milk, if I remember correctly.
Yep, that's exactly. Well, this article by Sanjay Sharma, published out of the Internet of Things agenda, comes in here and actually talks about the challenges with the connected fleet approach and really dives into some of the issues that they're facing, where a lot of them think that, hey, we just need to monitor essentially the truck. Well, really, that's not the case. What you need to be able to do is realistically, you need to be monitoring the individual shipments and then thinking about it from an actual, like, how do things really work? You have these fleet systems where you're transferring freight from one truck to the other to continue moving through. So you really need more of an integrated system across all of your shipments. So you can actually collect the data so you can analyze trends such as past shipping patterns, and then as long as you understand kind of those insights, you can then take real-time information about the location and condition of the shipment, and you actually can provide much more reliable predictions around that and make them actionable, as you can imagine, right? So if you're, for instance, if you're like, hey, this one should take, I don't know, a day, and you know there's no stop in this one spot, and all of a sudden you notice there's a stop, and of course, the system notices that the temperature is off. You need to get to know that you need to be able to figure that out now, so that way you can possibly fix that issue much sooner rather than the items arriving, let's say, 12 hours too late and already destroyed, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So his thoughts is really the best route is possibly going to have to work with an IoT provider who handles the reverse logistics and provides a complete managed plan, potentially, so you don't end up with like device ownership or a CapEx for those companies. I just thought this was such an interesting scenario. We've talked about this in the past, and this just nails it right on the head as far as the challenges and solutions for the logistics side of things, and especially using, let's say, regression like linear regression or something like that from a data science standpoint. So, yep. So that's this article here. That's our articles for the week, guys. That's
all right.
that's 3.
Well, if you do have any feedback or a recipe, I'm going to keep saying that until somebody sends me a recipe for something.
I think he just wants me to send it.
If you get a recipe, are you actually going to make it?
Yeah, I will.
What if it's like awful?
That's fine.
Okay.
It'll be worse if I make it and Matthew can't have it.
That's spirit. Yeah, that's not fair, Zeineb. Not fair.
I know.
So if you've got feedback, recipes, poems, you name it, shoot us a message at podcast@gearforgesoftware.com. We'd love to hear from you. Whatever you have to say, that would be great, whether that's feedback on the show, articles you'd like us to cover, you know somebody who might want to give an interview, anything. Shoot us an email. You can email us at podcast@gearforgesoftware.com or talk to us on Twitter at GearforgeIoT. Mm-hmm. And that just about wraps things up for this week's episode. So, Cliff, do you have anything fun planned for the weekend?
I sure do. So it's Matthew's birthday.
What?
Yeah, I know.
No.
Shocking. So it's Matthew's birthday. So happy birthday, Matthew.
Thank you.
So we are headed to Matthew's house and to celebrate his birthday, and can't wait to figure out where he decided to go eating tonight, and hopefully play some games and just have a great night. And then I've got a streaming data project. I'm gonna take those devices that I've been playing with, hook up, I don't know, some temperature sensors and a few other sensors, and then I want to stream the data and do some testing around those in one of the platforms.
That sounds like fun.
Mm-hmm.
Zeineb, what about you?
I have been thoroughly confused by that philosophy book.
You were so excited about that book.
I am excited about it, but you know how it is in philosophy. You walk in thinking you know everything, you walk out, you know absolutely nothing. That is the only thing that, well, actually, you might not even know if you do. So I'm finishing up that book, and I'm going to go ahead and start American Gods.
Nice.
I've heard some strange things about it, and I love it.
An excellent book by Neil Gaiman.
Have you read that book, Matthew?
A long time ago.
Really? And you've not read another book that I was thinking of?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about Ready Player One. So here's what I decided I'm going to do with that. I'm going to get that from Audible, so I can do the audio.
Oh, nice. Well done.
I don't know why I'm resisting that. I know I'll love it, but I'm just stubborn.
Yes.
So my weekend plans involve turning 42 or double 21, as I've been saying, and hanging out with Cliff and Heather. So that'll be fun. Look forward to seeing you and having a nice dinner and playing some games, as you said. That'll be great.
Have you decided on a restaurant yet?
Not yet, but I got a list.
I
literally have a list.
5? Are we going to go to like 5 restaurants?
Yeah.
Well, you know, I always think maybe you could just do Perkins.
I've been wanting to go to Perkins.
After 9 p.m.
We would just hit like one for the appetizer. We're like, oh, we're good, guys. We're heading to the next.
Yep, that's right. Just
that would drive
back to
Heather
back.
and Amanda crazy.
Totally. Like a pub crawl, except restaurants.
Yes. Another steak, please.
Exactly. That sounds pretty good. So that wraps things up for today. Thank you so much for listening, and we hope you'll join us again for next week's show. Until then, so long and be well. Bye, guys.
Bye.